Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Building Financial Knowledge with MoneySKILL, free resources for your classroom. And I'm going to welcome our presenter, Olivia DiBiase.
Great. Thank you, Bethel. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining the webinar today. My name is Olivia DiBiase, and I'm the Director of Financial Education and Outreach at the AFSA Education Foundation. I'm excited to introduce you to our organization and highlight the free personal finance teaching resources that we provide to educators. I was actually just exhibiting at the COABE conference last week, so I may have shared a bit with some of you already if you stopped by my booth and were there. But today, though, I'm specifically going to be focusing on sharing more about our MoneySKILL personal finance course, what it covers, how it's structured, how you can integrate it into your teaching. In addition, I'm going to guide you through the process of setting up a free MoneySKILL instructor account. I'll provide a tour of some of the key features of the platform. I will make sure to leave ample time for questions at the end. I was going to say don't hesitate to ask something if it comes up during my presentation, but I'm not sure I'll be able to see the chat. So I'm just going to kind of save all questions for the end, but feel free to type them in and submit them as they come to your mind. But to start things off, I'll share a little bit about the AFSA Education Foundation. We're a small nonprofit organization. We're based in Washington, D.C., and our mission is to educate consumers of all ages on personal finance concepts and help them realize the benefits of responsible money management. And so for the past 35 years, and we're actually celebrating our 35th anniversary this year, so it's a big one. But we've been dedicated to providing educators of all kinds with resources and training to support the delivery of personal finance education. And we do some of that virtually. Sometimes we exhibit and present in person, like I was exhibiting last week at different educator conferences across the country. In addition to our free education resources and teacher training, we offer a free online personal finance course called MoneySKILL. And so that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. And hopefully my presentation provides all of you with some helpful and most importantly, free resources for your teaching needs. So before I dive into MoneySKILL too much, I always like to share kind of some up-to-date statistics that I think really highlight the value and importance of providing quality financial education. I have to think if you're attending this webinar, you probably already know it's important. But one of the things I like to share is the FINRA Investor Education Foundation. They publish their National Financial Capability Study every few years. And it really highlights where American adults stand when it comes to their financial knowledge, behaviors, their preparedness. And in their most recent survey, it shows that 47% of those surveyed lack a rainy day or emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. Only 59% of those with credit cards reported paying their balance in full every month, and over 19% reported spending more than their income. So this is probably not that surprising to many of you. I think what you often hear in the news and also just from real life experience is that a lot of Americans struggle when it comes to basic financial knowledge and being able to make sound financial decisions. And there are so many factors that influence financial well-being, going beyond financial education, but research really does show that financial education can and does provide a solid foundation, and it can help prepare people to really make the best possible financial choices they can throughout their lives. So to that point, last year, GFLEC, the Global Financial Literacy Excellence Center, and the TIAA Institute released their 2024 Personal Finance Index Report. And it gives a picture of, just how important financial literacy is, how individuals with lower financial literacy levels are more than 4 times more likely to lack 1 month of living expenses and emergency savings, 2 times more likely to be debt constrained, and more than 3 times more likely to not at all be confident about having enough money to live comfortably through retirement. So I always like to share this kind of information because I think it helps put the work that we do at the AFSA Education Foundation into context and is really a driving force behind our mission. I will also note, there are still a number of states that do not require students to receive any personal finance coursework before graduating high school. Although in recent years, we've seen more and more states adopt new financial literacy education standards and requirements. But, for all of you who are working with adult learners, though, there's a decent chance that your students have received little to no formal financial education. So with that in mind, I really want to share more with you all about our MoneySKILL personal finance course. And I'm going to start by just kind of playing a really quick animated video just to give you a brief introduction to MoneySKILL, and then I'll get into it.
At the AFSA Education Foundation, our goal is simple: to brighten the financial horizon of everyone who enrolls in our MoneySKILL personal finance course. MoneySKILL is a free, completely web-based curriculum designed to empower learners with the tools they need to make confident financial decisions, no matter what their journey looks like. MoneySKILL is also customizable and available in English and Spanish, allowing educators to tailor content to their unique learners. MoneySKILL supports instructors in teaching the foundational money management skills that youth and adults can carry with them for the rest of their lives. We want you to take advantage of this great resource. That's why we offer it free to educators, parents, nonprofits, and any organization interested in providing financial education. Give your learners the tools they need to succeed. Visit moneyskill.org today and sign up as a new instructor to access the curriculum.
All right, so that is just a quick overview of MoneySKILL. It's our flagship program, and it was developed in 2002 as one of the first personal finance courses available online. It is available completely for free. There is no ads. There's no additional costs once you sign up. You can create as many classes, enroll as many students as you wish. We really fundraise throughout the year to ensure that we can continue to provide this program free of charge to educators. And that really includes teachers, professors, parents, nonprofits, really any organization or individual that's looking to teach personal finance content. The course itself consists of 37 modules or topic areas. It's available in English and Spanish, and it focuses on different personal finance and money management concepts. We really have a wide breadth of topics that we cover. So it includes everything like the basics of savings, budgeting, accessing credit, and it gets into more in-depth subjects like investing, planning for retirement, protecting yourself against identity theft. And each module focuses on a specific set of learning objectives. It includes custom video content, real-life examples, 10 quiz questions. Instructors have access to classroom management tools to track their students' progress and grades. The course is really designed to be fully customizable so that you as a teacher can really build your own class, decide what content, how much of it you want to include, and how you want to structure it. The curriculum also aligns with national and most state personal finance standards. We work with a subject matter expert, so we're regularly updating the content, making sure it's got the latest statistics, tax information, and then it's really up to date and relevant. More recently, I will also note we worked with a group out of the University of Illinois to make significant updates to the curriculum to ensure that the content's not just up to date, but it's also culturally responsive. It's reflective of a variety of life experiences. So we really do focus on keeping the course relevant, regularly enhancing the platform and the curriculum itself. As far as who uses MoneySKILL, the courses were designed with high school and adult learners in mind, and educators can really customize the MoneySKILL course content to meet the education level and needs of their students. As I mentioned earlier, you might have, at any age range, you might have students with quite a bit of financial knowledge or maybe not any at all, and you can really pick and choose and customize your classes so that you're meeting the needs of your students and kind of meeting them where they're at. And teachers, you can use MoneySKILL as a core resource for a dedicated personal finance class. I will say I talk to a lot of teachers who are teaching business, economics, math, career and technical education courses that are all really trying to find ways to fit personal finance into their courses, because there is no other dedicated personal finance course available to their students. And so MoneySKILL is a really flexible resource in that way. I also want to highlight some of the unique benefits of MoneySKILL. The course is all web-based, so it's designed to be incredibly user-friendly. And once a MoneySKILL course is set up by a teacher, which I'll show you a little bit more on that later, but students can go through the course in a self-directed manner. There's no specialized teacher training required to administer the course. MoneySKILL is really designed to be a plug and play program, teachers of all experience levels can use. We do offer additional support and training if you need to get things set up, but we find that it's really pretty simple to use and get going once you create an account. And because the course is available entirely online, it's well suited for remote learning. Students can go through the content on their own time, but it can also be utilized in a classroom if students have access to a laptop or a tablet. The platform is browser-based, so there's no special apps or downloads required. It's mobile friendly. There's no advertisements. We also don't require you to enter any sensitive data about your students. So we really have aimed for it to be as accessible as possible for all. I will note too that we have done program evaluations looking at the impact of MoneySKILL on student outcomes. Most recently, they showed that on average, students are obtaining 65% growth in knowledge when comparing their pre and post-test MoneySKILL exams. We also see behavioral improvements as well, which is really encouraging. So I won't go through the full report, but if anybody is interested in looking at the impact evaluation results, on the impact of MoneySKILL on student outcomes, we do the full report and infographic available on our website. So that kind of wraps up my overview of the MoneySKILL curriculum and of me kind of talking a lot. I want to move on to kind of spending the rest of my presentation just doing a quick demonstration of how you can sign up for a MoneySKILL instructor account, how you can explore the course content and start creating a class. As I mentioned earlier, we do make MoneySKILL available for free to all educators. To get started, we do ask that folks sign up by filling out a brief registration form. It can be accessed from our homepage at apsaef.org, like you see here. You can also get there by going to moneyskill.org. It's sometimes easier to remember. I've also included a QR code that will take you directly to the registration form. This will auto-approve your registration, so feel free to sign up now while I'm talking if you feel like trying to follow along. And this is just a picture of the registration form. It's pretty brief and straightforward, and it's really mainly a way for us to do some quality control and make sure that those signing up are actual educators. And once your registration is approved, if you use the QR code, the approval will happen automatically. But you'll receive login instructions and can immediately begin creating your own customized MoneySKILL course. So I'm not going to go through, every single feature of the MoneySKILL dashboard today, but I do want to give you a sense of how customizable MoneySKILL is for instructors, and also want to give you some insight, into what the platform looks like for students. And I'll share a quick video as well, kind of what the students will see when they go through some of the content. So once you log in, if you create an account, you can start creating a class right away by clicking on the giant yellow button that says Create Class. We do have a step-by-step guide that we make available. It's called our Instructor Handbook. It's in the resources section, but I will say that many users find the class setup process very intuitive. If you've ever used any kind of drag and drop software, it's fairly simple. Once you click on the class setup, you will be shown the option to specify your class name, the course level, the language. You can choose English or Spanish. You can set other class settings. We have built-in pre and post-test exams to kind of do benchmarking of where students are at before they start the course and where they're at when they're at the end of the course. And you can adjust these at any time, and they're all fairly straightforward. And once you do go through that class setup process, you'll be prompted to kind of go through all of the modules that we have available. And I have small screenshots on the screen here, but essentially what it is, you'll be shown a list of all of the modules. You can reorder them in different orders. You can adjust the dates that they're available to students. You can disable or enable certain modules if you only want a certain number of them available. So it's pretty quick. You kind of go through, set your class settings, pick the modules you want. After that, you will be prompted to go to a student section. So you can go in and start adding students to the class that you just set up. Because we have students of all ages, some of them minors who are using MoneySKILL, we really leave it up to the teachers to enroll students. We do not want you to enter in any sensitive student information. We don't need their email. We communicate directly with the teachers, but we're really not reaching out to students at all. So it's up to teachers to set up your class and enroll your students. You can, on this page, you see there's a name, username, and password field. You can set that up manually by entering student information one by one. If you look on the upper right-hand side of the screen, there's also an option to import students. So if you have a student roster where you create a list of student usernames and passwords, you could just upload that in one go, so you don't have to do it one by one. I also just want to show a little export here, or a little snippet here of, once you set up a class, once you enroll students, once you send them their usernames and passwords, they can log in and start going through the course right away. So there's not really any downtime between when you set up a class, when you enroll students, and then they can just kind of start going through it right away. Once the students start going through the course, you can track their progress in an online grade book. You can see how many modules your students have completed, what their quiz grades are in each module, and how much time they've spent on the course. You can also download and export the grades into Excel files, and download completion certificates. So we have certificates that acknowledge a student's completion of the course. And there are other features there as well. And then I know I'm kind of moving kind of quickly through this, but these are the features that once you have an instructor account, you can really play around with. You can explore how they'll work best for your class. And kind of the last thing I just wanted to show you was a snippet of what the course looks like for students. Once you create an account, you can actually preview all of the course content if you want. But this just gives you an idea of the interface with a snapshot from the student loan module and the quiz questions. Each module does have some custom video content. And I just wanted to play an example for you to give you a sense of what that is. So this is the introductory video in our student module.
Student loans might have already entered the equation for you if you're younger, or you might be dealing with paying yours off if you're older. They're often one of the first major borrowing events in a person's life. While one of the best uses of credit is to use it to pay for your education or for training that will help you get a higher paying job, it's also important to be aware of the dangers and challenges associated with this type of borrowing. Higher education is expensive, and costs keep going up at a very high rate. This is making it more and more difficult for students to pay for it without borrowing money, meaning that a foundational knowledge about the intricacies of student loans is key to success and making the most out of your decision to leverage credit in this way. In this module, you'll learn about the value and cost of higher education, as well as different sources of student financial aid and the differences between them. You'll also learn how to apply for federal student aid and about grants or non-loans that are widely available, the ins and outs of subsidized and non-subsidized federal student loans, repayment requirements for federal student loans, and private student loans.
So that was really just a quick run through of setting up a MoneySkill account, how you create a class. I encourage you all to check it out. There's really no commitment to signing up and poking around, and hopefully many of you can find MoneySkill useful for teaching personal finance. I am available too. I'll share my contact information shortly, but you really can always reach out to us if you want to set up a more personal one-on-one session or small group demo of the platform that goes into more detail. We're always available to set those sessions up. And before I move on to a Q&A today, I also want to highlight a few of the other resources that we have available to the general public and to MoneySkill instructors. One big announcement that we have is that we will be releasing 3 classroom-based lesson plans that are focused on vehicle financing and ownership in the next week. I don't know if many of you know, but this month is Financial Literacy Month. And we are releasing these new lesson plans. They're meant to complement the existing 3 modules that we have within MoneySkill that cover, vehicle financing, vehicle ownership, and vehicle maintenance. And it really serves as an additional type of resource for teachers to use beyond the web-based MoneySkill course. So it has classroom activities and a whole procedural for teachers. We also offer a teaching guide for MoneySkill instructors with over 300 digital personal finance resources. They're all organized to supplement all of the MoneySkill content by each module. So if you have a need for more material, we have lots and lots of content to supplement MoneySkill that we've vetted and taken a lot of time to really organize in a way that's hopefully helpful for teachers if you're looking for more materials. We also have additional curated lists of personal finance videos that are relevant to MoneySkill topics. We also have free education brochures and worksheets on our website. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. And I'll leave my contact information up in case you need it. And I will open it up to questions. Let me see if I can open up the Q&A here. All right, I'm going to scroll up and see if I can make sure I capture all of the questions. Okay, I see some good comments. Yeah, so I see one comment that's asking, could we use MoneySkill and offer it to the community to recruit new students? I think the answer is essentially if you have any audience of students, learners, anyone who's interested in personal finance, who are more than welcome to set up a MoneySkill course for them, whether that's through a community center, a community event, through your school, whatever that may be. We are open to as many people getting access to personal finance resources as possible. I see somebody asking the question, is if the course can be added to our LMS where we host some of the courses we offer at the state level. So MoneySkill itself, we don't have direct integration with LMS platforms. We have some folks that link out to it. So they link out to the login for students and then provide students with the login. If you have specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. We get this question occasionally and have some general best practices we're happy to share based on how you need to share the information with your students. Somebody asked if there's a registration code. There is not, as long as you either go to our website at moneyskill.org. You can just click on the create an instructor account. I see somebody's having trouble creating an account. I would say, please just reach out to me and I'm happy to help. Yes, and somebody asked if I could send the registration link via email. I will be happy to reach out to Bethel and see if I can get that link sent out to everybody on the meeting today. Somebody asked if there's a different link for parents to create an account, and there is not. You can just use the same link and indicate that you're a parent. or a teacher. Either one is appropriate. It looks like there's a few questions about who's eligible to create an account, and truly anybody who is in a position to be teaching personal finance. We are very flexible with that term because we know there's so many different people, whether it's nonprofits, teachers, parents, community members, you are all eligible to create MoneySKILL instructor accounts. Somebody asked what the reading level of the program is, and we generally keep the reading level at like kind of high middle school reading level, so like 8th grade to maybe early high school. We keep the reading level on the lower end so it's as accessible as possible. I see a question about, is there a general math level expected of the student? So it kind of depends on the module. Typically, the math requirements are not super heavy for each module, although there are certain topics that require some, multiplication, understanding of percentages, and calculation of interest. We do spend time in the course kind of outlining how those calculations are done. So giving the students some context, but particularly in topics about like financing, interest rates, stuff like that. There is some more complicated math, but it's not overwhelming. Thank you. By the way, thank you guys. I'm going through all of these questions. You guys have wonderful questions and there's so many of them and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to try and answer all of them because we have some time. I do see a question about how many hours does each unit take to complete? They say, depending on the level of the student and the specific module, it's anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes to complete each module. And there's 37 of them. It sounds like somebody's wondering if there's a recording of the meeting. I believe there is. I'll kind of defer to Bethel on their process for sending it out, but I'm assuming that they'll send out a link for folks to access the meeting. Somebody asked if I can clarify what the module retake percent is during class setup. So when you set up a MoneySKILL class, each module includes 10 quiz questions, and students are graded on whether they get those questions right or wrong. If you want to set up a minimum grade threshold, so you can say, I want my students to get at least 50% of the questions correct on their quizzes in each module. And if they don't, I'm going to want them to retake the module again. So that's kind of a threshold that you can set if you want to, so that if students don't get a certain number of those questions correct, you can have them retake the module. Somebody also asked, I'm excited to see that people are already creating classes and adding students. Somebody's asking how, when you create a class and add a student, how is a student going to receive an invitation and access the course? So you will be responsible for telling students what their username and passwords are. What we find happens quite often is teachers will use like a student ID as their username and their last name is the password, or some kind of similar combination that's different for each student, but that they can send to all students, so that it's kind of a simple process for them to figure out the login. And then if I go back here to our home page, students can go to our homepage and click on this login button to log into their accounts. And they can do that at any time with their login information. Somebody also asked if the program, sorry about that. Oh no. Okay, well, I think I stopped sharing my screen. by accident. But anyway, somebody was asking if the program is offered in another language other than English. It is offered in Spanish. So we have all of the content translated into Spanish. We have the videos, have Spanish captions available. We don't have any other languages, although I will say that this is a web-based course. So I've heard from some teachers that can use kind of the browser-based translation tools, which is not perfect, but that's what we have available. Somebody asked if it is possible to use a module as a group class lesson for our financial literacy portion of our curriculum. The answer is yes, absolutely. We have some teachers that actually go through the whole course rather than assign individual student accounts. They go through it together with students as a group. So you can, if you have a projector, you can bring up the course. You can create a one student login for yourself and log in and go through the course together with everybody. I think I may have gone through all the questions. But please do info@moneyskill.org. I think my information has been shared, but definitely please reach out to us if you have questions. I'm happy to spend more time going through a demo or answering any other questions you have. I really appreciate your engagement. I don't always get this many questions on webinars, so I really appreciate that you guys are paying attention to questions and we're already creating accounts. So yes, I appreciate it. Thanks. Bethel, I don't know if you're still on and want to close off the webinar.
Yes, I do. If everyone could take the poll before they leave, you will receive a certificate for this webinar 24 hours after the live webinar ends. So expect that tomorrow afternoon. The webinar is recorded. You will all be receiving the recording link and any resources for that as well. So look out for that in your email as well. So everyone have a great day and thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to Olivia for
Thanks.
presenting today.
Take care, everyone.
I'm sure you